So I'm gonna start off with 1/4 of an inch, and the length is 14.5 by 3 inches, and the height for the sides 4.5 inches, and this is MDF, 1/2 inch the thickness. I'm gonna start by sanding it down. I actually cut these down to 2.5. And this is gonna be the top cupboards, and it's the same length as this first one, and the sides are gonna be 2 by 3 inches, and the bottom and the top is gonna be 2.5 the thickness. So I have everything on top here for drying, and I have another piece of MDF, 1/2 inch the thickness, and I made 2 lines. One is the height of this one, and the second line is the height of the other one. And I'm gonna measure now to see how big I want my cupboard doors to be, and put it on here. So I secured this with 2 table clamps. I'm gonna use that electrical router to make those imprints inside the door cupboards. And this is how it looks like after, and I'm gonna keep going on all of the other ones that I made. I'm gonna sand it down now. So I'm gonna be using this sander with this kind of hookup, some wire. I'm gonna use this ruler for a gap so it can open up nicely afterwards. And I'm also going to use the drill and a really small drill bit that will fit the wire through afterwards. And you want to find the middle of this piece here. Now I'm gonna take the ruler and put it down so I have the same amount of gap on the bottom. And then flip it around and do the same on the top. And then push the wire in as far as it goes. And with some pliers we're gonna cut off. And then where we made that line with the sander, gonna bend it and push it in. And I'm just pushing it in with the pliers as far as I can into the gap that we made. Gonna turn it around. We're gonna do the same on this side. And I'm gonna do this to this and also the other ones, the little longer cupboards that I have here. For the top ones it's okay because there's no way they can fall out, but for the bottom ones, just to be sure, a little bit of hot glue in there. Okay, for the top ones it's okay because there's actually no way they can come out, but you can always, just to be sure, put some on. And then some for the other ones, I'm gonna cut them the other way. oven door, I have a piece of plexiglass here, white outside corner that I'm gonna glue on. So here I made a box for the oven and glued on 2 pieces of wood inside here on both sides. It's still drying. And here I have a bunch of lollipop sticks that I'm gonna measure. That's the inside size of the oven, so I'm gonna measure. And I'm gonna glue them on across like this with some hot glue. I'm gonna keep the nice and good side to the front and the one I cut to the back. A little bit of hot glue on here just to hold it even more. So here I have some peel and stick tiles from the dollar store. I just have to remove the back and measure and cut. Cut really small strips of that peel and stick tile. And I'm actually gonna glue it on with hot glue on top of the sticky part that it already has in the back. Here I have a piece of plexiglass. I'm gonna cut it with this saw, not to be used by children, and I usually just cut a little slower than normally, and it works good for me. I'm gonna round off all the 4 corners just a tiny little bit. Put a little bit of hot glue just on the back a bit. And I'll do this side too. Here I have a piece of wood, so I have like a straight line when I'm gonna glue on these cabinets on the top. And here I have some plexiglass the same way I did with the oven. And for the sink I'm gonna be using a small restaurant jam container. I'm just gonna measure and then cutting out the hole a little smaller than where we are gonna measure. Out the second line from the inside so it fits in here. I'm gonna spray paint this silver. Pop stick, I'm gonna bend it. And I'm gonna paint it silver also. Bracelet, I'm gonna use this here. Here I have some wire. Rubber or plastic. Black cap. This is going to be the fridge. The length is 11.5, 3¼ of an inch for the width, and the thickness is 2.5 inches. I'm gonna glue everything together with wood glue. So I marked here, I'm going to use those mini hinges and this electrical small sander to make this little imprint so I can after put it in.